that's what she wanted, so.
That's about all you do.
I made her a cup of tea, so she had a cup of tea, I got her rosary beads for her,
Oh, yeah?
so
Good, I'll give you a call if I ever need.
call me if you need me, I'm apparently pretty good at it.
How are you chopping wood?
Chopping wood? Well, I'm not so good with the axe, but if you got a wood splitter, I might be able to help you.
We gotta cut the tree down first.
Well, I can probably do that, but,
Okay, I got your number.
alright. I've had a little experience with that, I did grow up on a farm.
Uh,
I'll tell you what, these ash trees are really coming down. When I left here today, I went back right behind the house here, behind my garage.
yeah.
I was back there and I heard this pop, pop, and I thought, it almost sounded like a small caliber gun, like a 22 or something. You know, I was looking around in the woods and I thought, what in the world was
You're
that?
shooting at me.
And all of a sudden, ash tree, I'm not kidding, this big around,
Really?
it snapped off about 10 feet up and it just curled and came down, kaboom, kaboom,
Wow.
kaboom. I went, holy.
Was the wind blowing?
No wind whatsoever, not even a breeze.
Was it, strange. I mean,
Time
they
for it to come down.
they make baseball bats out of that stuff.
No, but it gets dirty fast.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Well, figures, since I'm gonna be
You
on
cut-
call tonight, I'll probably get called out for one coming down somewhere.
You cut it and split it, keep it in the dry, it's good. But boy, if you don't get it cut up and split, you leave it alone, it'll go quick. Don't know why it is. That's what I'm using up in my cabin right now, and on the walls is ash I took down off of my property.
Did you get it all built?
Oh, I bet that would look nice.
Had a guy come in with a portable mill and I did 3,000 board feet.
Wow.
Did you do it yourself?
No, he cut it all. He did all the cutting. I ripped everything lengthwise, different various widths, and then I hauled it up and dry stacked it. It's been dry stacked for a year and a half, a year and 8 months, and I took it down to Hicksville planing mill and they planed it and tongued and grooved it for me.
Wow.
Not all of it, about a little over half of it. Mr. Swire.
Sir, all President and Council, sir.
Yeah. Do you have your letter of resignation with?
Oh, pshaw, I knew it was something I left at the house. M'lady,
How are you?
I'm miserable. I'm looking
Who
for
the hell are
God.
you? I didn't recognize you.
I know. I just walk into the building that way. Ah, goodness gracious.
Literally walk into the building?
Yep, I left a dent in it. Take it out of my taxes. I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't thank you for coming to work today.
You're welcome.
I tell you what, all that bullshit I hear about on the news, it don't apply to this neighborhood.
No.
Not in the slightest, just in case you even have an inkling.
I even bit my tongue
Nobody
today
gives a
because
shit
Rob
what
told me
you're
she
doing.
doesn't like Donald Trump.
What news you saw?
Oh, she can resign too. We can have a group project here.
I was like, oh no, don't.
Not
don't
going
talk
there.
about this.
You
That's
got
not
local
good.
news or Kenosha or something like
I'm
that?
talking about the national Kenosha with all that other stuff going on. Yo, Bobby, how you doing?
Yo.
What it is, what it will, it shall be. We gonna get down. We gonna get funky. It's right on, Jackson. He so get down funky, he gonna move in next to you, and your lawn is gonna die. Good, I don't have to give a report.
You not on there?
No, I'm not on it.
Okay.
I am.
Let's see.
I can stay awake that long.
I know it's so.
You're either overworked or you're getting old, or both.
Eat all the
I don't
above.
sleep good anymore. I don't
It's
sleep
very
very well.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't eat it.
I
like
can be
3
tired.
hours.
I can be really tired and go to bed, and then I just lay there.
You have eggs?
Got eggs?
Eggs.
Oh, eggs now.
I used to think I wasn't sleeping until I realized somebody walked in the room when I thought I was awake. They turned the light on, and I realized I was asleep. So when I don't think I'm sleeping, I just forget about it because I know I am.
No,
I
I
can
just,
see
I
why
can't,
I'll tell my wife that maybe
Hey, I'm weird that way.
I can't fall asleep.
Well,
My wife tells me I go to sleep, she says, I can't
Good
believe it.
evening.
Hey, Eric, did you sign those for
Oh, I
Bobby?
hate it, 'cause my
You
husband,
need to
he
second
falls asleep.
signature.
I'm
too.
glad to,
You know what I tell her? I don't have
I'm
a guilty
glad
conscience.
the meeting hasn't started.
Hey, whose phone is ringing?
Which computer is this?
Guess what?
Oh, hi,
I'm
John.
fine.
I'm up here at the township. We're having, the supervisor meeting, first Tuesday of the month. Okay, the public call-in line is 717-398-3794. And the participant ID is 66. It's been busy.
Nikki said the phones
They
were,
can't get through.
It's not working right now.
it's not working right now.
Oh,
Give
that's
them all
'cause
that
it's not working
information.
right now.
Tell him, give them all the information so they can try it a little bit.
I'll give you all the information and it may start working in a bit. Maybe it don't start working till 7:30. The participant ID is 662-97816. Okay, you got that. Well, try after 7:30 and see maybe the interweb thing doesn't kick in until the meeting starts. Oh, well, no, you can come on down here, there's plenty of room. I can verify that. We got, everybody 6 feet apart and we're doing square dancing.
We're gonna play musical chairs here in a minute.
Yeah, there's room for them. They allow 10 people in the building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna have to take my boots off to count higher.
Wendy and Lisco yet.
Oh, Wendy and the judge, so we got room for 3 more people. Okay, you hang in there. You got the hard part. All right, toodaloo. Okie dokie. Mr. Jackson,
Yes, sir.
you talked to me about this new development or building project that you wanted to, that was gonna be a L-shaped lot.
Oh, yeah, Panhandle. Panhandle.
We
You
have-
were supposed to call me and I would go over and.
I know, and all of a sudden, here it is a week later.
Yeah, well, I'm not too familiar with the layout over there.
Well, that was one of the Talcots, Dana's coming over, so I guess they'll do a little bit of explaining.
I don't understand the cast of characters, like, what do the crumbs got to do with,
Well, they're kinfolk,
oh, they are?
Talcots,
Oh, okay.
wife used to be a
You
crumb.
should've just called me, my phone's sitting right here.
Oh. All
Is
right.
that the only land that Wally Crum owns? Or does he have?
Oh, this is weird. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey there, hi there, hello there.
Well, you're second-class township, we have a first-class parking lot.
My utility company is calling me. I should have gave it to you, so you could trace it. I just got a scam phone call.
I've been getting this all day.
Now they ain't gonna call me anymore because I turned the phone off. You know,
I heard that.
no, I just had no joke. This is an apology call from your utility company.
Okay.
Did you ever get that one?
Yeah, I asked him what my number is, what my account number is, and who my utility company is.
He doesn't know.
Oh,
They don't know either when they call.
well, I don't get to a people. I hang up on the computer.
Just ask the guy for his home phone number, tell him you're busy, you're eating dinner,
Yeah, I'd
give
like to
him
call
your
him
home
back.
phone number and call him back tonight.
Hey, I've been getting all these calls from the Social Security Administration saying my Social Security number has been
Yeah.
shut off and it's inactivated now, and I'm supposed to call them. I keep hanging up on them.
Yep.
I got that one too.
I got two of them today.
Today. They
Today.
I
keep
call them
calling.
and ask them what
Susan.
country they're from and how much money they're gonna try to rip me off of when I give them my social security.
What do they say?
It's
They
great.
say that my Social Security card has been,
Sheriff,
Social Security number has been,
if it's a person, I tell them,
fraudulent,
reached
has
the
fraudulent
NSA
activity, and
terrorist
if I
hotline.
don't contact them,
If
they're
you
gonna come and
wish
lock
to
me up.
report a suspicious package, please press one.
Then
If you
come
wish
here,
to
this people
report
are
terrorist
criminals.
activity, please press two. If you are a terrorist, please stay on the line while we task a satellite and drone to blow you up at click. The other one I did, it's almost as good satisfying as sending all the junk mail stuffed in an envelope with the junk mail. You know, you get the envelope that says postage paid, the solicitations.
Mhm.
Well, I take all the junk mail and stuff that envelope and send it back to them.
Oh, that's a good one.
Junk mail.
I guess
But the
I'm
best one was,
now.
I told them, oh, that sounds really important. Wait, let me get a pen and pencil. And I just put the receiver in.
Boy, I'm telling you. Let me slide by you.
Sherry,
Yes,
just to confirm, this is just the past month.
that's correct.
Oh, you want to look through this and excited?
And don't forget, Vicky, it's got confidential stamped all over it.
Well, it's not on this front page.
No, but it's on the page that you can look at and get all excited about.
No,
Oh, yeah, it does. You put it in red this time.
I put it in red last time. You were just too excited to read it. That's not all
I
on.
know we don't get a total of $16,644.
Now, we don't get all that.
Yeah, well, we get, what percent do we get?
We get half of whatever the fine is, and that doesn't mean the total, that means
Yeah, I know
whatever.
they got all that other stuff in it.
Right, like on a normal traffic citation, a fine is $25.
126 citations in 1 month.
Yeah.
We don't got nobody in our place doing that kind of stuff, do they?
What's that?
We don't got anybody breaking those kind of laws, do we?
You kidding?
Oh,
I can go out here and sit on 16 and steal my marker for 2 hours and write 4 or 5.
wow.
Hear that, John? Be careful.
Hey, I'm not gonna say I've never, I am still do occasionally speed, but
Stay 15 miles an hour under the speed limit, and you're usually okay.
I
Under 15 miles an hour over.
I made this comment one time before. I said, I don't speed, officer. My car, on the other hand, did.
I usually try to stay 5 to 10 because, see, when I was growing up, I don't know if you remember, it was during Carter. And he had that crazy thing, speed limit 55.
Right.
So back then, going 65, 70, you were flying. Now it's 65, so I'm just, you know, I go 5 to 10 miles over.
Yep.
You know, if there's
Fine.
not a, but I mean, back in the day, you were flying if you were going 75. Back then. Now everybody's going 70, 75.
Well, this month, I think the highest one we got was 92.
Wow, I'm 16.
Yeah.
Now that's dangerous.
Yep.
That's reckless.
CCTV.
Well, that guy got one for reckless too because he had already passed 20
92 on 16, even if you don't pass anybody, it's right.
Yeah,
It's just too many turns,
yep,
too many hills.
yep.
You
Too
know,
many places
too many,
for somebody to
driveways.
drive.
Yeah, too many driveways.
Yep.
The agenda is over there,
Yep,
or did she put it on?
You know,
It's right
Yeah,
here, thank you.
yeah,
You know, Dan?
That's crazy.
yep.
and see, when you're pulling out, you don't expect to see someone barreling down 92 miles an hour.
Well, and it's hard to gauge somebody's speed when they're going that fast, when you're not used to seeing somebody going that fast.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're used to seeing somebody coming at 55 or 60, and it's dark, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that car's way up there, I got enough time to pull out, and then he's doing 90,
Yeah.
and you pull out, well, then
Yeah,
something's gotta give.
Some will give.
Yeah.
We still waiting for Linda?
She's not here, so you can't do anything until she takes notes.
Well, guess what? She's not here, the camera's not on, so I can turn my bottle at you.
Yeah, but then I might catch it and then you won't have it. I'm a Mets fan. Oh, wait a minute, no, I'll drop it.
You better, I'm gonna say, you're gonna drop.
I'll drop it. And the resemblance with those guys doing playing baseball is purely coincidental.
You gonna get them logs yet?
Oh,
Oh, let me answer that for you. That'd be a big fat no.
true that. I went back and looked at it again,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
think I can actually get off the road.
Who you talking about?
At the bridge.
I'm talking about over here on Old Waynesboro that was down
Now
there.
you pushed them over the cliff. You
Not that-
turkey.
Well, you said you was gonna go get them.
I know, I lied. I can't help it.
Again.
I am Polish, you know.
Didn't I tell you if you didn't get over there, I was gonna push it over?
Yes, you did, and you kept your word, didn't you?
Gonna go out and get some scotch?
I need another bourbon.
Hey, she needs some so she
Are
can
we
go
allowed
to
to
sleep.
talk during when you talk land stuff? We don't know any directions. Can you give us directions? before we
In
start?
the public comment section, we will have there, and then, we do allow sometimes, especially
Like,
for
we have questions.
you guys are the Trump.
Crumbs,
Yeah.
yes.
We'll get to that part of the stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll-
here.
yeah, we'll get to
I was
that.
trying to get hold of next time.
Mr. Sweet, did you say you were Polish?
Unfortunately, I resemble that remark. Pure blood.
You
All
like,
my
you like
grandparents.
pierogies and kielbasa?
Pierogi, it's pierogis, and
Kielbasi?
kościuszko, not kastiasko, and kielbas. Yeah, I know all
My
about
wife's
that.
father was Polish.
Galuki, did you?
Whenever you're ready.
Ready, she's ready.
I don't know what the stuff was called, I just remember pierogies and kielbasa.
Let's stand for pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So Wendy, can we please have a roll call when you're ready? Whenever you're ready, that's fine. Oh, send it right there in front of me, thank you.
Mr. Barlow,
Here.
Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Mr. Copple.
Here I am.
Here he is. All right, at this time, we're gonna go to public comments. Unfortunately, tonight, if you're watching by video, we're having technical difficulties, again. And this time, it's with our telephone line, so if you wanna call in on the public, comment section, you can call us at 1-717-642-3780, extension 1006, and Mr. Kaiholt will kindly take your calls. So at this time, if you have any public comments, we're taking public comments, you can call in now. We'll give you a few minutes to do that. Was anybody in the audience, Mr. Swyatt, want to talk about something under the public comment section?
Only comment is you guys are doing a great job.
Well, thank you so much.
You didn't expect that, did you?
You're just so full of it. All right, so any public comments? Anyone else want to speak? No?
I think we wanna, if we have any questions later on, we would like to be able to talk to you and answer your questions
Yeah, okay.
about this, but that's it.
Yep, that's fine. All right, if we don't have any public comments at this time, we're gonna move on to the supervisor's comments. Mr. Jackson, would you like to go first?
I'll go first with no comments.
No comments, huh?
I blew my wad last week, last month.
Okay. Bobby?
Yeah, I'd like to once again remind citizens that be sure to check with the township office. If you're putting up a deck, a porch, fence, making major improvements of any sort like that around your house, you need to check with the township about permits. We see different places that those sort of things are happening. So just a reminder to all the citizens in Liberty Township.
Anything else?
No, that's about it.
Okay, well, I have quite a few comments, I guess, here tonight. The first one is, last night we had our firemen's meeting with the township supervisors about, each one of the supervisors has a report, a budget report for the fire company. Had a lot of good conversation there last night. Of course, you know, they're not doing too much with the COVID-19 with their fundraising thing. They did have 2 weeks that they did bingo, but then the governor made them shut down. But right now, in their little coffer, they have $1.3 million sitting in the reserve account, which I thought was pretty awesome. It's about 4 years that they can go. They don't want to do that, and then they have just about 556 in their regular checking account for their budget, and also they're not too bad a shape now. They said they can go for a little while. There was some talk around about different things that we could try to do to help them out. There's some things that we want to announce and have put on our township website. What they are going to be sending out the donation letters here coming up pretty soon for their fundraisers. They also, every Thursday, they have a dinner on Thursdays at the fire company. It's a drive-through dinner you can go through. I think it's from 3 to 8. You can check their website. Adults is $8, and it's $5 for kids. I'm sorry, at the time it's 4:30 to 7. And then they're going to be doing at the Picnic Fest. Normally when we do the Picnic Fest, they are going to be setting up yard sale there at the fire company. It's $15 per site. That's Saturday only, and you can get in touch with the fire company to reserve a site if you're interested in doing that. October the 3rd, they're going to have a special drive-through from 3 to 6. Has to be paid in advance. It's $20 for each person. Steamed shrimp and chicken. You can call the fire company. They are taking tickets, selling tickets now. That's at 642.
What time did you say?
3 to 6 p.m. The phone number is 642-8842, and like I said, you can check their Facebook page too to do that. I thought it was a good meeting. We're just trying to kick around some ideas of how we're going to get through this COVID and how they're going to get through with volunteers and stuff like that. It's tough on everybody, but that's kind of what's going on with the fire company. Another thing that I wanted to specifically speak to, and I just learned of this today or this afternoon, and Mr. Jackson, maybe you have some insight to this since you're a part of the FEMA, but did you happen to see this, Bobby? Did you happen to see this? This is a spill that took place on Saturday from SGI. A sludge pump blew up there and filled the creek out along 16, down in front of our residents' places, all the way down to the bank and everywhere else. They have not notified. Has any township been notified? You're part of the FEMA emergency management? So they have not talked to any township official that I know of to let us know of this spill.
The processing plant erupted and dumped all into the...
All to the creek.
What was the date on that again?
Saturday.
What was it?
Saturday. The sludge pumps blew up.
For
SGI.
Okay.
And dumped this in the creek. I don't know if you've seen that, Sherry. And it's still in the creeks. It's still got some of the creeks. Now, from what my understanding was on Facebook, if you want to look at Facebook, I don't put too much say in Facebook, but there was a lot of going back and forth. That it's limestone. Some of them say it's aggregate wash. some people say, well, the limestone is not harmful, but in the raw form, I believe it is. I don't know. From understanding, DEP was called and was out at like 3 o'clock in the morning and did a site visit to SGI. But what I'm disappointed is the township, the local township officials were not informed that we had a spill in our waterways in our township. It not only in our township, it passed through Carroll Valley, passed through Hamilton Bend, passed through Emmitsburg, and it's on down the road. And we have not heard anything from the manufacturer about this spill.
I'll check into it.
Oh, well.
See why FEMA wasn't notified.
Right, yeah, I said I kind of stunned me when a resident sent me these pictures, and I just had Wendy print them off. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. And so, anyhow, if you could check in, like I said, I do know you're on that task force.
Yeah, is that another picture, the same one?
It's the same picture, yeah. Well, you can have all these pictures. You need that picture there? You want to keep that picture there?
One picture's enough. I'll take the other.
You can have them all.
Okay.
So like I said, I do find that kind of disturbing that we had a spill like that and nobody was, you know, I'm glad it wasn't a nuclear fallout or something. You know, but, so anyhow, I think that's just not right that one of our manufacturing people would do something like that and not inform the residents, especially the residents along 16 and that creek. You know, they got their septic systems, they got their wells and everything else down through there, and this stuff leaches into their wells and stuff like that, fish and everything else.
This was not the septic system in Carroll Valley that blew up. It's the grit mill or whatever it is.
The grit mill, yeah, it's up at the grit mill. So.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, that's the grit mill. That's not Carroll Valley. All right. Other than that, I don't know that I have any other comments at this point in time. So we'll move on to our minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes for August the 4th supervisors meeting?
Yep.
And if we
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes for the budget workshop on August the 19th? And if so, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as read?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go now to our treasurer's report. Everyone have an opportunity to review the treasury report?
Yes.
Anyone have any comments on the treasury report? All right, do I have a motion to approve the treasury report as it's written?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Wendy, I have one question, just to confirm. I thought I saw it today when I was looking over things. The adjustment was made in Ruson's check this past pay period, is that right?
Yes, but that won't show up on here. because
No, that's
we did
going to
all
be in
this-
the payroll.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yes, it was. For payroll, yes.
Yeah, for payroll, yeah, okay.
So a motion's been made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we're going to go to invoices. Everyone have an opportunity to review your invoices?
Yep. I'll make a motion we approve them.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, payroll. Anyone have an opportunity to review the payroll?
I have, and I'll make a motion that we approve it. Oh, you made it. You're the payroll guy. You ought to make the motion.
I'll second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hang on, somebody might be calling my line to call in. No, never mind, let's just take that right out of here and put that on mute. Sorry about that. Okay, payroll done, that's done. Okay, police report.
Police reports for August 2020. We worked a total of 265 hours. We did about 82 patrol hours, 48 hours on call, 29 traffic details. Total was, I believe, 103 total traffic citations and 23 written warnings. We answered 27 911 calls, and PSP answered 9 calls for us. hitting some of the highlights and stuff that we did, in August. We did approach Hamilton Band Township, and talked with their supervisors at a meeting about possibly providing some police coverage for them. We were just kind of feeling them out. They were very receptive to it, but at this time, they weren't sure that they were gonna be interested. But they wouldn't rule it out for the future. So I haven't really heard anything back from them, so that's, probably on their back burner, or they're just talking about it right now.
Right.
But they were, I thought, pretty, receptive to it.
Yeah,
to
they
us.
were, seemed somewhat, have you spoken to anybody else or heard from anybody?
I have not. I had also sent some letters to Freedom Township, and spoke to one of their supervisors on the phone. But that's been probably 2 months and I haven't heard from them. So I may follow up with him just to touch base and see what they were thinking. The body cams we got approval for last month, I did review that, we talked about the warranty, and that does look like a really good warranty. It's, total warranty on it, and if it doesn't just apply to the first body cams you get, it applies to any that they may even replace within, I think it was that 2-year period, so that looked good. Plus, I did have to contact the Pennsylvania State Police because they require municipal police departments to contact them first to make sure that we're doing everything by the book and that we have enough storage space on our computers and that we're storing things properly on site. And I got approval for that, so I'll probably go and place those body cam orders then this week. I've been in contact with the postal inspector. I don't know if you remember from earlier in the month, there were some mailbox thefts.
Mm-hmm.
Not only here in Liberty Township, but in Carroll Valley and Hamilton Band Township, down into Maryland and in towards Gettysburg. Since the original thefts at the beginning of the month, there have been others.
Really?
So postal, I have been in contact with the postal inspector numerous times, and they have mounted a pretty decent inspection investigation on it. So I told them anything they need from us when they're in this area doing some things to let me know. Worked on the 2021 budget. I think I have mine pretty much done. Officer Rusin did participate in some DUI patrols, and we did back Carroll Valley up on several domestic calls.
Did you have an opportunity to send letters to the different clubs we talked about?
I did. I sent some letters out to the AMVETs to see.
4 letters. 4 letters.
Yes,
Okay.
I sent a bunch of letters out to see if they would be interested in helping to sponsor and give a donation towards the body cams.
Good.
Yep.
Cool. All right, that's great. Anyone else have any questions for Gary?
These post office thefts are individual mailboxes, is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they stealing the mail out of the mailbox or the whole mailbox?
The mail out of the mailboxes. And I would encourage people to not send cash through the mail. I know of at least one instance where somebody sent cash and that was taken. So a check's much easier to cancel than you'll never get your cash back.
Okay. Anything else, hon?
I think that's about it as far as what I can remember.
All right, we'll go to our zoning. And our zoning report, there's 2 permits, 1 for Stillman Marker and 1 for Old Waynesboro. Wow, that's
What's that?
the one for all the replace house with modular home on Old Waynesboro. I thought that was on Cove Hollow.
I'll check.
Right,
That was
wasn't
what
it?
I had on my report, but I'll look into it. I'll verify that.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
saying,
verify that.
because they put one on Old Waynesboro, I don't know where that was at. I just was up there today.
Yeah.
All right. So those are only 2 permits that were applied for, $180 for the zoning. Okay, under the road department, well, let's see, where should we start? Road department, we were quite busy, have been quite busy, over the last month. We drove 1,029 miles, for the month of August. We did, 992 miles in our Chevy. So we've been taking a lot of miles, 37 miles in the 550, so we're not using that nowhere near as much as it was getting used before, so that's going to save us a lot as far as on that particular vehicle. We use 86 gallons of gasoline and 21 gallons of diesel fuel. We had host offers. They came in and met with Bobby and looked on August the 4th to look at the building with the potential of probably be putting heating and air conditioning in the building. Gave him a price quote, which we have. We do have a couple other people in mind. We've been trying to work it out with Train air conditioning heating. They required that we had blueprints of the building for them to send an engineer down. So I contacted the engineer today, and they're going to make arrangements to come down because we did find the prints. So hopefully we'll get a bid off of them. Parking lot on the 6th and 7th, of course, was paved. Everyone can see that the parking lot, now we have a classy parking lot out there. So it was paved on the 6th and 7th. Everything went really well with that. District 8 rep was down here on the 10th and met with us, and with Wendy and also myself and Bobby. Did you meet the man from the district? I didn't think you did. And we went over some things with him. He went over the proposal for some of the road work we wanted to plan to do for 2021. And so he actually came up and worked up some stats for us that I believe I presented them at the workshop meeting for the budget. So that's an ongoing project there, and we'll see how that goes through the budget process. The trees were trimmed back on Boyle Road at the bridge. Pennington's came in on the 17th and cut those all back for us. We got a little bit more over there to take care of, and then hopefully the site problem that we've been hearing from residents and from people that have accidents, that it's a site problem, will not be a problem no more, and then the speed will be the problem. Since we cut it back, we already had an accident. So anyhow, that was done on the 17th. The 20th, we took the truck up to the 550 up to be inspected, and it passed. They did a service on it also. We also, over the last month, well actually the last 2 weeks, we did finished up the mowing for August. Cut back also the back sides of the roads back. We redid around all the signage in the township, and yes, just today we were out repairing. I put it up new signs, poles for signs on Irishtown and Boyle that were hit and knocked over by someone. So we got those back up. We did mount a new mailbox. If you hadn't noticed, we have a secure mailbox now down here at the road. It's a safe drop box, so no one can go in our mailbox and steal our mail. So it was a concern, especially for our tax collector, since she's now working out of the township, and she was receiving a lot of the taxes checks in the mailbox. So that was installed also. Later, anything else, Bobby? Did I forget something?
No, I think that pretty well covers it.
We did have a few things that went on in the township this month that we had to take care of pretty quickly. We had the backhoe cutter blade was all the way back into the bucket, so we had to flip that. Had to order another blade also, so we have that for snow plowing season when it comes up. But we had to cut those bolts out because they've been in there so long. And as we went to use the acetylene torch, the hoses blew up on us. And gave some money a whipping. That'd have been me. And could have been dangerous if we had struck the acetylene at the time. It would have blew us out of there, but unfortunately it did not. So we ended up replacing not only the hoses were rotted, but the valves were all the O-rings and the seats and the valves were bad. So we ended up replacing the whole entire system, except for the tanks. And then we had an incident last week where the gas tanks were leaking gas out of the hoses, so we had to go and do an emergency repair on that, and that turned around into a real mess because our hoses, all of our hoses were 7 years, 7 years out of date. They're only good for 5, and then at the end of the 5 years, you're supposed to replace the disconnects and everything else, and they were 7 years past being taken out. So now we have all new hoses, we have all new cutoffs, swivel heads, everything's new on that. We're trying to find someone to come in and do an inspection because it hasn't been inspected in ever. We found out that that is something that needs to happen too. So anyhow, we're in the process of finding someone to do that, and we leveled out behind the tank and continuing to level out the back behind the building here and cleaning up behind the building. And then I have a proposal in front of you. You guys can kick it around, do whatever you think. I don't know where my glasses are again, there they are. I took the power washer. I was going to power wash the bay and power wash the tanks and all. Unfortunately, the power washer wouldn't start, so we took it to Harrington's. Harrington's did some work on the power washer, got it running, and determined that the pump had been froze and busted the pump out of it. So the power washer is no more. To replace the power washer with a Gendrek power washer, 3100 psi, it's $429. We don't use a power washer a lot, but when we needed it, it wasn't fair for us to do. So I got a quote. If you guys would have considered buying a new power washer, that's the price right there, unless you find something different. This is from Harrington's down the street. I will tell you, on another note, I have Alpha Space Control is slotted to come in tomorrow. Actually, I will make this a motion here. I'm making a motion that we paint the parking lot, put the parking lot, the car slots in the parking lot. They came out. 13 car stalls they were talking about. They're going to also stripe in front of the doors for the yellow lines in front of the doors. They're going to stripe over here on the side a new handicap accessible area. And we thought about doing it ourselves, but they came back with a price for $425, and I went, that's a really good price. So,
And the lines will be straight.
huh?
And the lines will be straight.
What are you trying to say there, Sherry?
Or like we could complain and they're not great.
You sure
That's right.
you sure you don't live on White Shelf Road?
I didn't paint your road. But
How wide are the spaces?
you know, I didn't get into that aspect of it. I did meet them out here when they did the measurements, whatever a standard parking spot is.
Unfortunately, I think there's quite a few standards. Some of these
I don't know.
parking lots in the doctor's offices are about 8 feet wide.
Yeah, I
And you can't put 2 cars side to side and get out of them.
well, I know they've got 13 places, 5 right here in the front, 2 over here at the building, diagonally going towards the road, 3 right out here in front of us along the guardrail, and I think there's 4 coming up this way on the guardrail. That's the best way that they thought for us to lay it out was, and to get the cars in, and they did take in consideration with the handicap stuff like that. So anyhow, like I said, tomorrow they're slotted to be here tomorrow morning to do this. So I'm going to make a motion that we go forward and do that.
It'll be raining.
Huh?
It'll be raining.
That's their problem. I just want to get the motion done.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Bob. Like I say, if it's raining, they'll have to reschedule. So, I think that's about where we're at on the road department. Bobby, unless you have something else to put into that report.
Nope.
Okay,
I think
dokie.
so.
All right, how about secretary's report?
The only thing I want to talk about tonight is the notice that I gave you regarding the payroll, deductions.
Yes.
The Trump, set out for September, and I wanted the board to instruct me on that.
Like I say, I did review this, did you get a chance to review this?
I'm not sure what the subject is.
It's gonna be administrative procedures and miscellaneous for, relief and respect to employee tax
Yeah,
deadline.
There's a
Um,
deferment of taxes.
Right, right. Now, this is where you can defer your social security,
Yeah.
but then at the end of, starting next year, you have to start deducting back from your employee, January 2021 to April.
Can you handle different people doing different things. You can either defer them or not defer them, we all have to.
I will do whatever anyone tells me to do. I'm just asking for the board to discuss this.
Well,
Bobby?
Personally, I'm not gonna defer anything.
same here.
Same here.
I'm just gonna keep it
Yes.
simple for me. What about you? If you're
I
good
don't
with
wanna defer any.
No, like I say, as far, like I said, I don't know that anybody here in our township is really suffering and needs to defer their social security tax.
I don't think the auditors want to be deferred.
We wasn't gonna defer you, we're gonna charge you.
Oh, yeah, they're on checks. I'm a little
So-
short.
I'm sure you are.
If you defer, you're gonna have to pay it next year.
You gotta pay it next year anyhow, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so unless someone's financially in a bind, I don't think we should defer it.
So do you want me to not defer unless I'm contacted by an employee who asked for it? Is that what you want to do?
Yep.
So I'll make a motion that we do not defer unless an employee specifically requests it themselves. Got a second?
Yep, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
But Wendy, make sure that employee understands that it's a deferment.
Oh, everyone knows that I'm
Yeah.
everyone I've personally talked to that and asked them, they're like, what? No, I don't want to pay all of it in January to April, so yeah, they have.
Yeah, right.
Is nobody from the planning board gonna be here or gonna call in? Wendy, did you hear?
Oh, I'm sorry, Judy, actually, hold on, Judy sent an email.
Okay.
Do you have a sketch of the painting of that parking lot, parking spots?
You do?
I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah, I have it, yeah.
Did they go straight in or they go in angles?
That depends what you're talking about. Right up here at the door, they're going straight in.
Okay.
Over here, they're going at an angle. And down there, they're going out toward the road this way.
Here's her report.
Okay. All right, with the planning board. The planning commission met on August the 18th. Vince Gee was in charge of the meeting. And the chair was out for a medical appointment. So they streamlined the meeting. Sketch plans for Royal and Gail Crum subdivision of 2 acres was from their farm to be given to their granddaughter and her husband. Issues included would have a shared driveway which is allowed in the township with certain criteria and flag lots which is not allowed in the township. PC recommended that they approach the supervisor for a waiver regarding the flag lot or apply for the zoning hearing board for the same. They would need to test for soil perks ordinance. And then the other thing they had was the burn ban ordinance they discussed. They identified things that was felt that should be covered by the ordinance and also agreed there was things that shouldn't be. The planning commission is not sure which part of the draft ordinance the supervisors feel is too detailed and request specifics regarding this. Okay. And the planning board is going to look at the Adams County and the state ordinance on the burn. Okay, that is Judy's report. Anybody got to make a motion to approve Judy's report?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. All right, now we'll go to the Crum sketch plans. Alrighty, has everyone had an opportunity to review the Crum sketch plans?
I've reviewed it, but I don't understand it.
Okay, well, guess what? They're here to explain it to you.
The reason I can't understand it is I don't have a color, it's color coded and I don't have a color copy. I think I can sort of figure it out.
Look at that, you got a color
It's not
copy.
the best color, but
Yeah.
we can help you figure out that's Dana's lot. And the green goes out here and around here, and around.
Okay, well,
And that's the 93 acres that's in green.
okay, and this is owned by Wally Crum or?
While
Yes.
Crum owns the green,
Mhm.
Dane, our daughter, owns the orange.
Which is me,
And
Dana.
we'd like to put
Okay.
a lot either right across from Dana there or
Okay.
here in one perk,
Yeah.
off of our
You
property.
say they do perk or they don't? You don't know.
We haven't gone that far yet.
We're experienced in that, and then we're gonna have to get a soil scientist,
Right.
to figure out what type of system we can put there.
Good.
That's our game for now.
Now this is off of Winchell?
My property lines Wenchoff, which is the orange property here. The white driveway there is my driveway that accesses Talcott's Auto Repair.
Yes.
You know where that is, okay?
Yep.
But also goes then farther back to access their place, and it also is the access for all the surrounding 93 acres of farmland, which
Right.
belong to Wally and Gail Crum.
Correct.
Wally and Gail Crum.
Now, and you're proposing the house is gonna be in either one or
Either-
two?
Yeah, either one or two, depending on what we could get, perk-wise. This is for my daughter, Megan Fitz, and her husband, Brandon Fitz, so this is family type subdivision that we're looking at doing.
Right.
And we're trying to put it on the edge of the
Right.
cropping field so we don't take away from our crops.
The
Right.
goal is to keep it as much
Yeah, all the
farmland as
fields have
possible.
soybean
Right.
in it right now, but we're
Mr. Lisco, do you have any, did you have an opportunity to look that over or go over anything on that? As far as the legality of granting a waiver for a right-of-way?
Well, that's in the I looked at it briefly, that's in the subdivision ordinance, correct? Does anyone?
I believe so.
Yeah, so if it's in the subdivision ordinance, you have the right to grant a waiver for that. But as far as the flag lot, that would be the zoning.
Correct.
But what I don't understand is why do you need, it seems to me like you could just create lot 1 or 2 from the, let's say the main track, the farm track, which, and then just have them use your driveway.
That's what they.
Yes, that's what we want.
So where's a flag lot is like when you have, here's the street. This is the street, say going this way.
Okay.
A flag lot is when you have, it doesn't border on the street, you have a small lot area. The lot would go like this, and then the lot would be down here, and that's the flag. It's an upside down flag.
Right.
But you're not creating a flag lot.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
we
think-
just wanna be able to subdivide
Yeah.
it, yes, they can share my.
Well, that's what I was confused when it
I'm
said
sorry.
flag lot.
Well, I think the.
Now, Wendy, speak up here, Wendy, if you know more, or if I'm getting this wrong.
No, and I think, the only concern that I was hearing that maybe you could, expand on is how do you do the shared driveway? You know, how does that work out?
Yeah, that was a question,
Yeah.
Or you're not gonna own the driveway, you're only gonna own that lot.
right, and that was a question that I
The
had
sharing of
also.
the driveway, how is that gonna?
Well, the way it works, the way I've seen it in other townships is there would have to be, you don't call it, they call it right-of-way agreement.
Right.
There would have to be a right-of-way agreement between, you're.
David Talcott, it's my driveway.
Yeah,
like,
between,
part of her property, part of
what's your last name, man?
Talcott.
Between Miss Talcott and her daughter. And I don't think you're involved with it at all, except
Other than the lot is
you're
the
just
lot.
selling the lot.
Right,
Right, but once
Giving it to
well, whatever, once the lot is gone, it's gone from your property.
Right.
Then the only two people that are involved are Miss Talcott and her daughter. And so they would need a right-of-way agreement, you would need to see a lawyer to have them prepare one. And it's not that complicated. Just says, who's gonna pay for snow plowing and maintenance and things like that. And, well, it should be,
We have all the.
it would have to be, whatever's worked out, it should, but it should be equal, however you wanna work it out, yeah. You'd have to just work that out.
Now,
Yeah.
my thing is, would you put that in the deed, that it's a right-of-way that's been granted to Megan?
Well, the way I would do it is when the deed is sold by Mr. and Miss Crum to her granddaughter, it would say, together with the right-of-way across the property of Miss Talcott and her husband's name, as set forth in the right-of-way agreement, which is to be recorded immediately after this deed.
Oh,
So that's how I would do
But
it.
I was gonna say, would it be transformed if they sold the house?
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah, well, when it goes,
It
when,
goes.
if her granddaughter sells it to you,
Right,
then you would get the right of way
Yeah.
over her property.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, that's
because
how
I
it
know we
works.
have,
It
we,
would all be recorded at the
Otherwise,
court.
it's landlocked.
well, we see, that's when we had that problem up on Gladhill. We had the same exact problem. We have a driveway, with people lives up along the driveway. One resident owns the driveway, but the other people have been using it for years. They just finished a court case up there, settled that dispute they've had up there on this driveway.
Well, they probably never had a right of way agreement recorded.
Right, and that's why I wanna make sure we don't, because they try to drag us into it, we don't wanna get involved in that.
No, when we could say in the plan that, there will be a right of way agreement between, you know, the owners of lot 1 and Talcott's, and Township shall have no liability for the maintenance of said right of way, or, you know, and
So your definition of a flag lot is that this is not,
This is
since
not.
we
no, I don't think this is a flag, no, because as I said, a flag lot, like I said, this is a street, it comes down this way, and then you have the lot. That's a flag lot.
That's fine.
I mean, you could probably design it that way.
We don't want to, because it would take so much of the 2 acres to get, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
They wouldn't have anywhere to put their house at the end of the day,
Right.
quite honestly, by the time we got in our driveway, so.
Yeah, and then it would also decrease your farm.
And we don't wanna do that.
Properly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, is there any reason that we now need to go to zoning? We're trying to figure out
What
the
are-
stages of.
No, I'm fairly certain that I don't have the subdivision ordinance here, I'm fairly certain that's in the subdivision ordinance. You know, I don't know, no one sees
So
it.
we just make a motion to grant them the waiver for the right-of-way agreement.
Yeah, but I think our subdivision ordinance requires them to, they did submit something.
Yeah, it's a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion. Go ahead.
Now, let me ask you this, now, did you go, are you gonna go see a surveyor now to survey this?
Our next step is to figure out where we can get septic. So we'll
Okay.
probably have a soil scientist.
Okay,
But we didn't wanna do without the waiver, because we
Right.
would be spending money that we might
Right.
not even be able to put a lot there, you know what I mean? So we
So
wanted that.
our preference is where lot 1 is.
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Wendy, do you mind getting me the subdivision ordinance, if I could take a look at it? Is it back here?
Is it behind you there? You see those
Binder.
binders? I don't know if there's one back there, that's usually where it
I
is.
think that would be the next step.
If there isn't a saldo, I have one.
Oh, God, I don't think I have it in
I
my.
have a couple questions just to get things straight in my mind.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I don't see it back here, Wendy.
So when I turn in Talcott's to go back to your resident and or business, these 2 lots are back there on the right.
Yes, so you know where you cross
Here,
our little bridge?
I got it right here.
Wooded area,
Yep.
so it would either be right before that little bridge, right after, right in that area, yes, on the right.
So what you're looking to do
say she has one there
is
too.
you're gonna use one of the 2 options, you're not gonna do both.
No,
is
no, no,
that
no,
right?
no,
Right,
no,
one of the 2 options.
We just wanted it open a little bit so we can figure out exactly where we can get the septic right there. She wants
Yeah.
to be, you
No,
know,
I think
close
you're
as
going about it the smart way, and there's nothing like family, so, yeah, so that's good, that's all good. Yeah, and my concern was when, I saw this and thought about it was, what if you or your daughter decided they were gonna sell and move away to
Right.
wherever?
Right.
Then where does that leave that right away, and
Right.
how's that handled for the buyer, or if it's gonna be worth anything, so it sounds
Exactly.
like we got that
And
covered.
we're absolutely, we had plans to legally put that on the deed,
Good.
et cetera, so
Yeah, okay.
absolutely.
Is there anything in our zoning ordinance, because I think John may be looking at it now, about having a lot with no access to the main public road, Winchell Road, would prohibit, a landlocked lot? Or,
No,
or a shared driveway ordinance, is there anything that would,
Planning told us shared driveways were absolutely allowable.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what they told us.
Yeah, they're
So,
they're allowable?
yeah, that's what they told, they were like, absolutely, that's.
Oak Lane would be one of them, a good example.
Yeah.
All those houses up through there, that private line.
And then what about, well, they, obviously in that case, they don't have access to a public road anyway. They have access in Oak Lane,
Right,
same situation.
right, right.
So apparently it's allowable.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Of course,
that,
those would all be grandfathered in anyway, but But I just, it's a question, I don't know. Is that what you're
Well,
looking at?
see, this is, here we're at joint use this is kind of confusing. It starts off by saying the use of joint use driveways will not be allowed when its use is to circumvent the specifications required for street frontage.
So what are the specifications for street frontage?
Well, that would be in the zoning where I guess you have to have a certain amount of, road frontage, which you don't have.
Right.
So maybe that's why they were talking about,
A waiver.
you need, maybe that's why they were saying you need a flag lot.
No, they had referred us to the flag lot, like running it down. That's what I thought, what she took from the meeting, and somebody else from the meeting thought that that was not true. But my thought from what they said was that would not be a flag lot if we did the shared driveway, which was allowable.
Yeah, it says the use of joint use driveways will not be allowed when its use is to the joint use driveways may serve up to 3 lots containing single-family dwellings.
So currently the driveway is there now.
It's already there.
And it has 2 families.
That is correct. I mean,
So
it
it'd
goes
be a
back to
third
her house,
family.
my house, and it also goes to the
So
farmland
you have
around
an
it.
agreement
Yes,
with
it'd be
your
a third
in-laws
lot.
Yes, ours is a
regarding
flat.
that land,
Yes.
I mean,
so.
that
Yes.
lane was there before they built.
Yeah,
Right, that lane's been there
They accessed
forever.
the fields.
yeah.
And then we built back here after they did.
Mhm.
And improved it and so forth, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, at that point in time, that's been,
I think
how
the
long have you been there, Dan?
remaining question then is whether there has to be a
25,
street,
30 years.
a street front, whether the lot has to have access to the street front.
Yeah.
And logically, I don't see any objection, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, planning said that it didn't have to, if we got, that's what we're here, is like for the waiver for it, that we're able to do that
Well,
lot back there.
I talked to Dominic about this,
Mhm.
and he says that, the decision is really up at the supervisors.
Right.
It is not in accordance with the current zoning ordinance,
Mhm.
but if we grant a waiver, there would have to be what do we call it, a special condition or a zoning hearing board. Special condition would mean three of us would decide it.
Right.
And-
Yeah, because say if we said no, then you could appeal it to the zoning hearing board
Mhm.
and they could overturn it.
I think is where the prohibition occurs that determines whether you need a zoning hearing board or
Right.
a supervisory board.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, that this prohibition is in the subdivision ordinance, and in the subdivision ordinance, section 700 says, the board of supervisors may grant a modification or waiver of the requirements.
Right.
So,
That's what,
I think you can grant,
if we grant the waiver,
then that's it.
but we have to have to modify that, do we have to have like a zoning hearing board among ourselves, or can we just make a motion?
We can just make a motion.
No, here's what it says. All requests for modification shall be in writing. Now, this is what they're not compliant with, though. It says, and shall accompany and be a part of the application for development. So, and they haven't filed an application for development yet.
They can do
But
that.
it says the Board of Supervisors and Planning Commission shall keep a written record of all action on all requests for modification. So, no, there's no requirement for a hearing, and many of my other townships, when they grant subdivision modifications or waivers, they just do it by motion. But the thing of it is, I don't think you can actually grant them the modification until they file your application for development. That's what this says.
How about-
But I think they can kind of individually tell you now, are you guys okay with waiving this requirement that this lot have road frontage, basically?
John, is there anything that would be in the zoning ordinance itself that would add input to that comment that you made about that?
It's on 308.
Pardon?
308.
308?
308 in the zoning?
Yeah, I just put it away.
Use the way. I mean, I think with either a zoning hearing board meeting or a supervisor's waiver meeting, it could be approved.
Well, and I agree, I think, well, my position is, I think we would prove it at our level, because if we make them go to zoning hearing, they gotta pay $1,000 just to have the hearing.
Right, that's what they were telling us at planning.
Yeah, yeah, and that's,
There's no reason why.
there's no reason
if
you
we
should do
agreed
that.
we couldn't,
Yeah.
approve it now or give the waiver.
Can you approve pending submission of the
yeah, we can do something like that.
development application?
Yeah, I mean, that's, well, 308 just deals with driveways.
Driveways, right.
I think the issue here is the road frontage.
And what did you say the planning commission, what their comments were, once again?
Their comments were that we were to come to you and ask for a waiver, would be our first step. So that's why we submitted what we submitted, and we came to ask for a waiver. And he's like, and then once you receive the waiver, then begin moving, you know, on the septic and subdivision, et
Right.
cetera.
But they were okay with the shared driveway.
They were okay with it. They said shared driveways were absolutely allowable.
Right, yeah, I would say,
That
I talked
was
to,
like that was, I put that directly in my notes.
Well,
yeah, I talked to Barb about that, she said the same thing. I mean, not Barb, Judy.
Judy.
I said Barb.
Well, here's the worst case scenario. Here's how I've seen it done in other lots. They actually, what they do is they create what's called a paper flag lot, which means that you would have to, but you would still use your driveway. There would have to be a road frontage. That's the worst case scenario. But I don't even think you need to go there. I think you just need a modification from the supervisors.
That's what they
Right,
seem to
That's
feel.
what they
Yeah.
were telling us, yes.
well,
Have you been following this conversation at all, Wendy?
Yeah.
And we got the planning commission meeting?
No.
No,
Oh, okay. Well, I think you just grant them a modification from, this 404B1.
And could they do that now, or do they have to do it
Oh, they're supposed to wait,
pending the application?
yeah, they could grant them the modification provided that an application for development is submitted.
Would you put a time frame on that at all?
Within 1 year, maybe? I mean, when you're gonna submit it within a year?
I don't even know what the application looks like. I would assume so.
Yeah,
Your
well,
plan for subdivision?
you're gonna have to do a subdivision plan, cause you're subdividing a lot.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, like, you see those papers rolled up back there?
Yeah,
It's gonna
I
be
know.
it's gonna be one of those plans, you're gonna have to do one of those plans,
Right.
yeah.
What we're waiting on is to get the crop off, the
Right.
soybeans on
Right.
hand.
We don't wanna go dig the soybeans up right this second.
So depending on whether we can do something before spring, we don't know.
right.
But it'll be
We're just
within a
starting
year.
the ball to roll.
Yeah.
You'll be doing it within a year.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right, do you agree with, you guys are in agreement with that?
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it.
All right, I'll make a motion that we grant them the waiver for the driveway, shared driveway pending the lot development plans
Within 1 year.
within 1 year. All in favor of, that's a motion, do I have a second?
I'll so move.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're most certainly welcome. Hopefully that works out for you guys.
Yeah.
Are you okay, David?
1 year from today's date, 9/1/2020.
Can't go now,
I'll
you gotta
send
stay
you a
all
letter.
night.
You're going about a week or two.
I forgot.
What is that,
My neighbor will report
You guys-
to me tomorrow.
Form online.
I'm done.
Nikki, what is
And
that?
then I'll email.
403B,
That's
I'm
how
sorry.
you
No,
do it.
is that AR? or
Oh,
is that-
that's AR. Yeah,
Okay.
AR.
Yeah.
It was 403B, sorry. Subdivision ordinance, 403B.
All right, I don't think.
Okay, all right, so the burn ordinance, they did, like I said, they did talk on the burn ordinance, they were asking for feedback from the township supervisors, the stuff, some of the stuff they want stricken out, so I guess we need to go back to that burn ordinance we received and go over that and pick out stuff in there that you have questions about or you don't believe needs to be in there, so we can move forward on the burn ordinance. Does everyone still have a copy of the burn ordinance? Bob?
What burn ordinance is this? Because I want to make sure I have a copy of it.
The one that that the planning board sent out to us.
When did they send that? Is that recent?
Last month? Mr. Grant has it.
Okay,
Yes, the one that Mr. Grant did.
so do you want the supervisors individually to go through it on their own before a meeting, or do you want to?
Yeah.
And then maybe at the next meeting, we'll see where we are.
Yep.
Everyone can bring me their comments and I can update the proposed ordinance if you want, or redline it for you.
You have a copy of it?
I'll get it out to everyone once again and remind you to send me your
But
comments.
I understood that we were gonna check with the county and the state to see.
Correct.
So that we're modeling ours to coincide with theirs.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Okay, I'll follow up.
And we don't have those two yet, do we?
No.
Okay, I'll talk to Mr. Grant and I'll follow up with what we're doing with that.
Okay, next thing on our agenda is our well ordinance that we had advertised. And now we're at the stage to adopt our well ordinance. So everyone had a copy of the well ordinance, got a chance to look at it. This is the same well ordinance that we actually had advertised.
Yep.
Any comments, Wendy, back from the citizens?
No.
No comments on the well ordinance from that. I know this is the well ordinance that Mr. Randy Alexander proposed that we adopt. It is also the one that Freedom adopted, and it's the one that KPI thought was best suited for our township. So, on that being said, do I have a motion to adopt the well ordinance as written?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. All right, and then we will have, I'm not sure if this is in this part, but we did have set in our well ordinance, had a fee schedule. Do you have that, Wendy? It's not a part of this here. But I know it was separate. Do we need to vote on that separately, Mr. Nisco?
Yes, if you're gonna,
I thought,
Do you want me to go get it?
well, I guess we better have it if you don't mind. Don't, only because if we're gonna vote on it, I guess we gotta look at what it.
What are we voting on?
The fee schedule for, that goes along with the well ordinance.
Oh, okay.
And that's gonna be ordinance number 2021, I guess. Speed things up a little bit while Wendy's doing that. We'll move on to the Greenview request for Washington Township, Franklin County. Mr. Lisco, did you get a copy of KPI's comments on that?
yeah, I talked to Wendy about it briefly, and I think what we should do is, they're recommending an intermunicipal agreement. Actually, it would be between us and the Washington Township Municipal Authority, because they provide the sewer. Look, I suggest that the developer prepare the agreement, and then I can review it and the WTMA can review it,
Okay.
rather than you paying me to prepare it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, let them prepare the agreement. That's what KPI is recommending. Like I said, I definitely should review it before you sign it, but, you know, it might be a 5-minute review, whereas if I do it, you might be looking at an hour by the time you prepare it and double check it. So I think that's what we do, just tell them that our engineer wants an agreement between WTMA and Liberty, prepare one for us.
Okay.
What,
Anybody have questions on that? Go ahead.
what are the size of the lots?
They seem to be, as far as I can tell, it seems like they're pretty big lots.
Yeah,
11 acres, did I see somewhere in there?
Yeah, I saw that, and, well, the green space was 11 acres,
Oh, okay.
open space, yes, the green acre, open space is 11. And that's why I asked what size it does. It says 6 lots total.
And the,
5
wasn't,
lots along Glad Hill Road and 1 of them on Staley for a total of 6.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no size to them. And I guess it doesn't really matter if they're going to have
Sewer.
city water and sewer. So,
Yeah.
but I was just curious. I thought it was odd they didn't say it was going to be a.
well, I would think if they're requiring 11 acres of open space, I would think they'd be pretty big lots, to have 11 acres of open space.
I wonder, are these just the ones that are in Liberty?
Well, there's 5 in Liberty and 1 in Washington.
Okay.
And the 5 one Liberty is top of Glad Hill Road till you get to the township limit there
Mhm.
above Orvis.
Yep.
So,
I don't know, maybe Wendy knows, I don't know.
using,
Like I say, because I went out today and looked at this, so they are logging that all out and getting it ready. As I had indicated before, I think this is probably following this mutual agreement with the township.
Well, see, there are 80 lots in Washington.
Yeah.
And
If we have,
I'm able to locate the fee schedule.
They didn't have one when they sent
it was attached to the back of it.
of
The
freedoms?
No, when we met with
Or
Randy.
was it of something that came from Randy? It wasn't with the Freedom Well ordinance.
I don't think so. Let me see if I can find it here.
Do you know how big those lots are for this Greenview Estates, by chance? No?
Not off the top of my head. I can go pull the file.
it must be fairly small because there's 80 lots.
Yeah, okay.
There's 80 lots total. 5 are in our township.
Well, yeah. Well, that makes sense then, that if it's 80 lots and they're requiring 11 acres of open space.
Yeah, there's a formula, option 1 on the acreage.
well, there's 80 lots in Washington. Oh, I see, 80 lots is the whole project.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess they don't tell you how big they are. This is all I have is the plan.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah, here's the open space, 11 acres, and these are the lots. So if that's 11 acres, these are half-acre lots, I don't
Here's
know.
Glad Hill Road coming out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess they're counting that one in us, because they said a total of 5.
Yeah.
And this is Staley Road.
It came from Randy Alexander?
Yeah.
So they're pretty small lots.
Yeah.
I thought they were
They're quarter, half acre kind
Yeah.
of thing. Okay.
maybe 3/4, yeah, somewhere in there. But thanks, Wendy.
Here it is.
You got it?
Yes.
All right, it's
No. That's the nuisance ordinance fee schedule.
Yeah, I don't,
We talked about the fees for the well cisterns.
That would have been in the July meeting?
in the original well ordinance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be the fees from the original, not when we changed over and went back to, Freedom.
Yeah. No, it was separate from Freedom. It was like $25 application fee. We did the geothermal part was, I have it at home, I don't have it with me.
Yeah.
The geothermal part was like,
We did a flat
200 flat fee.
Yeah.
Co-stars, Yeah, I don't have it.
Well, I didn't bring any, that was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't bring anything out of the park back with me.
Well, I cleaned out my thing the other day, because it was getting too much stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is last month, July last month.
I think it was July when we did that. Might be wrong, but.
The only thing I seen the ordinance says the drilling permit application will not be considered complete until the application fee is paid.
Correct. Yeah, we had the fees, that $25 for the application, I think it was 200, I think 200 for two or 250 for geothermal when it had multiple wells on the property. But I don't seem to have it on me here. No. Eight. Go back in my minutes, that's already January. Did you find
No,
something?
I only have the application, and it just keeps referring to whatever the board of supervisors fee schedule is.
Right, yeah, we was gonna, that's gonna be put in the fee schedule, so, I guess what we'll have to do until we pass the well ordinance, and then we'll have to set up the fee schedule.
Oh, next meeting.
Yeah, we'll do that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Because we don't have it on hand right now, so. Okay, so we're gonna move on to, as we were talking, Wendy, while you were looking at the Greenview request.
I'm sorry, did we actually pass the well ordinance? Yeah, we did.
Yes, we passed the well ordinance, yes. And I don't know what the ordinance number will be. I just put 2020 dash.
I'll let you do it later. I didn't look
Okay,
at it.
okay. All right, and then our next thing was this, the KPI and, the Lee Royer and Associates. I think what we wanna do is we wanna follow KPI's directions and have, Washington Township, come up with an admissible agreement between Liberty Township, and Washington Township. And, in that agreement, we wanna address the right-of-way, the road frontage, upgrades to the roads when they go to put, the roads in and stuff like that.
And the developer's gonna prepare the agreement.
Yeah,
So
developer,
our response will be to Royer, and we, or, because Royer's requested we sent a letter to Washington Township. So you want the supervisors to respond to Royer and tell them,
That we want, that our engineer wants an agreement between, an intermunicipal agreement between Liberty and WTMA.
okay, we wanna see that before we send any letters.
Yeah, and we'll send the, yeah,
yes.
Okay, okay, we'll request a draft intermunicipal agreement requiring things stated in here, the road, what did you say? Oh,
Does Franklin County come into this at all, or is that just with
no,
Washington?
no, it
This is
wouldn't- no, it would just be WTMA and,
all right.
All right,
and Liberty, wouldn't be Franklin County.
I made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll draft that letter.
Thank you. All right, next thing on our agenda is codification. Codification is now due to be turned in. The zoning, committee, has, reviewed the, codification, made recommendations. So has, Mr. Lisco, and I think everyone else. KPI, everyone has weighed in, so I think now it's ready. Wendy, do you agree that it's ready to be sent back?
I will send those back, and I'm sure there will probably be another list of items that the supervisors themselves may need to do that.
Okay,
But once they've incorporated and got all the answers from the other entities, they'll probably send me a shorter list to review, just for you
Right.
to go over.
okay.
Okay, and I'll send those off tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Do we need a motion for that?
Go ahead. Then
Make a
we
motion
can
that Wendy go ahead and send the codification,
Comments.
comments back to, general code, to move forward with the codification of our ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. All right, we are gonna move here now to,
Mr. Chairman, before we move to new business, I have a couple things under old business. One item is,
okay,
after the last meeting, you approved the records retention destruction policy. And I'm, the way
Glad you
home, I
brought
was
that up.
thinking, you know, there are some records in there, in particular, was concerned with the Schaefer records. If the insurance company ever decides to go after her, they might need some township records. So I
Right.
called Wendy the next day, I said, I don't think we should destroy those. She said, that's fine, but she would like the supervisors to make a motion that the Schaefer records, any and all Schaefer
Oh, right, so
records.
there's documentation, we already
Right.
documented that we were destroying them.
Correct.
We would need a public documentation saying that we're no longer,
A motion saying not to destroy any records
Right.
concerning Schaefer.
Yes, I'll make a motion that we don't destroy any records that concern the Schaefer case, at this time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
The other thing is, a few months ago, the representative was here from Comcast, and she said that she was going to forward to us a copy
Oh, yeah.
of the agreement that, and that she never sent us
no,
anything.
and I talked to her probably 3 times over the next 2 weeks following that meeting, asking her for items. She did give me 1 or 2 items that we asked for, but she did not get back to me with a draft agreement.
Yeah, she gave me the same treatment.
Okay.
I've been talking to her, but she says they're all locked up with COVID.
Oh, so you're following up. So
Okay,
your
well, that's fine.
communication,
Yeah.
You are communicating.
So we won't make any motion, we won't move forward with Comcast till Comcast complies. I would say at the fire company actually mentioned that also with Comcast, because they're looking at taking, the, televisions and services that the fire company gets, away. And so they asked that each one of the townships just mention them in their agreement if they can.
Well,
But-
what I'm concerned with is that they're gonna give a better deal to the other townships than the Liberty.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I wanna see that agreement.
Right.
So maybe we can get that from one of the other, maybe you can.
I'll ask again, but the other, it's hung up, it's not completed.
Right.
The agreement's out.
Okay.
All right, I was just, again, every now and then I think about that, cause I know that came up. but-
Well, that's what they are trying to do.
Right.
I say, well, they wouldn't let us in the current negotiation group because we expire after the others do, so they're taking them first.
Okay,
And they're coming up with an agreement, but they haven't done so yet.
okay.
And the comment was that they're not accepting they're not caving on anything. Right down the line, they're being tough.
Anything
Okay.
else?
No, that's all I have, thank you.
All right, we're gonna move down this list here. The parking lot, we've already approved the line painting on that. Air conditioning quotes, already touched bases on
Mickey,
what's
what
going on.
was the, you said you had a quote, I think.
Yeah,
425.
425, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the air conditioning.
Oh, the one quote,
You got one quote? I just
Yes,
looking at
we've only got
It was
one quote.
about $18,000.
$18,000.
Heat, air conditioning, and all the above. That was
From Holt, okay.
Holtzapfels.
Holt's
Yeah.
office.
Correct.
Train
And
is gonna give another one?
train's
that's why-
coming in, and we have to get one more, only because of the price of what it is.
Yeah.
And
But,
everybody we talk to is swamped right now with the
Yeah,
heat
so-
and the way it's been, so it's been tough to get
I just
people.
wanna get a feel for the magnitude of the project.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's what we talked about before.
Right, and we're still trying to get, the quotes in here before the end of our budget process. That way we'll have those numbers in there.
Mickey, what about new business comments?
Oh, yeah, news business comments, anyone that wants to, is anyone on the line or wants to call in for new business comments at 717-642-3780, extension 1006. If you have any comments you would like to make on our new agenda items, please call, and we'll take your comments, as they come in. So feel free to call, we're gonna move on down the agenda, if you call, we'll stop and answer some questions. Our next one is item C, the tax collector's request for return check resolutions. I hope you all had an opportunity to look at that. And this agreement is to allow her to charge a $25 return check fee for residents that give her a bad check. If she can't resolve it within a couple of days, then she have the ability to incur that fee upon them. And that fee is what she would incur from the bank anyhow, so, so we drew up a resolution. Did you see the resolution?
No, but I've seen other tax collectors have, what is it, $35?
It's
25.
25, okay, some of them are charging 35.
Yeah, right, so, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve this resolution to incur a $25 return check charge to the payer if they give us a bad check.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Question.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, that doesn't cover our expenses there with her $25. That just takes care of the bank.
No,
it's
no, it does not.
$15.
That covers her,
What is it?
She told us it was $15 from the back.
Oh, it's 15.
15.
And so the other 10 would help her.
Yeah,
food
'cause
process.
she's got time in that,
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's
probably
$10.
postage and,
that would be for $10.
yeah.
And
Okay.
it-
That's why I say, other tax collectors are charging 35. She's,
Right, and actually, the township charges 45.
Yeah, the township charges 45.
She wanted to be very fair, she knew that sometimes the bank doesn't charge her at all. The
No.
tax collectors, they waive it, and she said if that's the case, she's not going to charge, it'll just be dependent on the situation.
It's a,
She just needs it in.
it's based by per situation and how it goes out.
Well, I just wanna make sure she's covered for her time and
She was very confident that
Yeah, that's what she wanted.
Okay.
Cause I said 45 and she goes, oh, no, no, no.
Yeah,
She
because the
wanted to pay
township
25.
charges
You
45.
want 25? Yeah.
That's fine.
And I also, she did read this morning before, she left and she said yes, that she was fine with that. So,
Okay,
all right, so we have a motion, we have a second, all in favor?
I'll second it.
No, we already have a second, all in favor?
Oh, aye.
Okay, good, thank you. All righty. So our next thing on our item here is, the 2021 minimum municipal obligation for the pension plan. Have you had an opportunity, guys, to go over that? This is a standard thing we do every year.
And this will affect our budget and it'll be lower,
Right.
because when I gave you the budget number for the MMO for the non-uniforms,
Right.
I said, oh, that's me, and I forgot that number actually had Brian in it as well.
Right.
So now it's gone down, so.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah,
And then the police plan, as you can see, we talked about that being overfunded, so the obligation for the police plan is actually zero.
0. You see that on page 4, number 7, total member contribution is 0. So, we have to approve these individually, so I'll make a motion that we approve our minimum municipal obligation or MMO for non-uniform pension plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll make a motion that for our police pension plan, retirement plan worksheet, MMO for 2021. Do I have a second for that?
Yes.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Wendy's giving you a draft budget update.
My update is, I don't have an update.
Yes, her update, she don't have an update.
Because I'm still waiting for some updates from the A
Okay.
couple of numbers are supposed to be coming in to me, some updates, so.
Yeah, I do have your signs that I need to get with you about. I did go out and do that, and the base repair, I have the numbers on the base repair
Okay.
too. So,
Yeah, so individually, if you have updates to your budget, come see me, and then we'll have this ready. Do you feel comfortable with the next meeting being in October, or do you feel we need another budget meeting?
what's the consensus?
I think October worked for me.
Work for me, if we don't have any drastic changes.
I think we went through that pretty good.
Yeah.
There was some things that I misunderstood that
Okay.
I think the major item on there that I think we ought to resolve is the tax, whether we increase the taxes, and if so, how much. We got 2 zeros and 1/8.
yeah,
And
I'll split it with you, 16.
I'll,
And we did see since the budget meeting, we got an update for the liquid fuels. and it
Yeah, we did get a
was
little, yeah, we did get a bit more
And
money.
Not 55.
I don't think we need any tax increase if you stick with your zeros. I'll put a zero.
I think we're okay.
That's fine, I would say I'm fine with that too. But I will say that last night at the fire company, there was a couple people there, one particular person there, one member of another township that recommended to raise the fire tax to 0.5. That wasn't received by the rest of the ones around the board.
Well, since you gave us those two numbers tonight,
No, I almost
they
said,
got,
you know what, I'm thinking about, let's not raise it, but let's just take it off the board altogether for a couple of years.
And then just have that in our regular real estate?
But,
well, now that has nothing to do with the ambulance service, does it?
it does not, it has nothing to
That's
do with it.
entirely separate now.
That's entirely separate.
And
But-
they're they're claiming poor mouth now too.
Yeah, but the thing, what we can do, we do have the ability to do that, when we distribute the fire tax this coming go around. We most certainly can distribute it to to arms. They are the EMS, and that is not only just a fire tax, it is fire EMS tax. So we are allowed to put them in the equation and give them something out of it,
Yeah.
which would be something I think we should consider doing because,
Do we get reports from them?
I don't know that we get reports from them.
I think we should.
We
If they're-
should probably,
Yeah, like I say, reach out to
That's Zane?
that's Zane, Eric Zane.
All right, I
Yep.
will contact him and tell him that you're considering giving some of the fire tax, and then we will need monthly reports.
Yeah. do
You know,
that.
I think he ought to perhaps make a pitch to us about why they need money.
Well, they always need money, you know how they are.
Well, that's not enough of a pitch to
Yeah.
convince me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We listen to them all need money. Don't they, Sherry?
Yeah.
But, so anyhow, as far as the budget, then what date in October are we talking?
Oh, it's the October meeting?
Just at the October meeting?
Yeah, the next meeting,
Okay.
which is the first of the month. What is that? Are we on September, Tuesday, the first Tuesday in October?
Yeah, the first Tuesday will be the 6th.
All right, October 6th is our next budget meeting also.
Yeah, we'll talk about the budget on October 6th.
Do we want to have the meeting a little earlier for the October, just for the budget, and then we can go into our regular session? That way we're not here till 10 o'clock at night. So I would make
We're
a,
gonna do a budget meeting prior to.
I would make a recommendation that we have our budget meeting, why don't we say 6:45? 6:45, and 45 minutes good enough for a budget meeting?
Probably not, but I think we can make it.
How about 6:30?
If there is, okay.
Let's do 6:30 for the,
6:30, so I'll have to advertise that.
6:30 for the budget meeting, and then we'll have our regular meeting at 7:30.
And you won't need me for the budget part, right?
No. Okay.
Let me just, make one comment. I did contact the library, but I haven't heard back from them. Remember we talked about that at the budget meeting?
Right.
And I asked them to send me at least a written explanation of why they need the money and what the benefit is for the township, so I have not heard back.
Okay. So that being done, we're gonna go to our last item on the agenda tonight, and we're gonna go into an executive session for that item.
Not sure we need to.
Oh, you're not sure we need to know?
No, I don't think there's any, no, I don't think we need to discuss it. At the last meeting, you authorized me to, we filed a motion that we would sign the settlement agreement, that the property located in Liberty would be taxed in Liberty, and the property located in Freedom would be taxed in Freedom, on the condition that the school district signs first. Well, since then, what has happened is the owner of the property, attorney, Yannetti, I think is his name,
Yeah,
has raised an issue that they, while this case was going on, they filed their own tax appeal dealing with the valuation of the property, not with where it's to be located. They want the assessment value low.
right.
Okay, and he wants a paragraph or something in the settlement agreement stating that this agreement will not affect that appeal. So that's a totally separate appeal, that appraisals will have to be done, and that'll be dealt with. So I sent you a bunch of emails today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had a chance to look at them, but that's what he's raising now. So I guess what I need you to do is, if you're willing to just pass a motion, still authorizing me to sign it if the school district signs it, with the addition that this only covers where the property's taxed, not the value of the property. And if you wanna just say so moved, that's fine.
So moved. How's that?
Okay, so is there a second?
Thank you.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did you get that, Wendy?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's it.
Uh,
I saved us 5 minutes, Mike.
Thank God doing that. So now I have a motion for adjournment. What? Hold on. What? No way.
I would be remiss in my duties.
Yes, you are remiss. What do you
And
want?
it says here, new business can be for public comments.
He covered that, you were asleep.
You were sitting
Oh, I
right
was
there.
asleep, I remember.
What do you want, public comment?
No, I just want to make sure that the board of
He
supervisors
announced it.
know that the auditors are meeting individually now, in case you didn't know that. And we're trying to maintain social distancing by not being here in the same room.
Correct.
And Sue has not been able to do that because of the personal problems.
Right.
So I've been in contact with the chairman and we'll be sending you a memo
Okay.
from the chairman, just for the supervisor's eyes.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, you know what that's about.
Yes. So
Okay.
anything else?
No, thank
So
you.
we can make a motion for adjournment?
If you so desire.
All right. I'll make a motion for adjournment.
So, I'll second that.
All in favor? All right. All right. Thanks, guys.
Very good. All I gotta do is get up.
Yeah. Hey, we got out of here at a decent time tonight,